Welcome to Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcolm and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm Reed, joined by my lovely, talented wife, Miss Southern Shell. We got TikTok Tyler on the boards. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
It is a lovely, rainy week here on Camp Week.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Every single day.
Yeah. There might not be much pool time this week.
I know. That's really cramping my second favorite holiday. Camp Week. Michael is at Camp Lake Stevens in Oxford, Mississippi for the week. He's down there getting his kayak on. What all they doing, Shell? Do you know?
I don't know what they're going to do this week. Normally they would go swimming and kayaking and
sit inside and sing Kumbaya.
Yeah.
eat s'mores in the microwave or something.
Yeah.
They're gonna be no build no fire. That would suck going to camp and it rains all week.
I know. I should have sent him with some like Uno cards or something just in case.
You sent him with a football, did you?
I did send him with the football. He loves throwing the football. Palmer Home. We're going to talk about that real quick. I just made a big post on Facebook, but we've set a date for our VIP class. The top 5 fundraisers that help us raise $20,000 for the Palmer Home will receive 2 tickets to a VIP event. Experience. On November.
That's before hunting season, right?
It is before hunting season. November 13th.
Good.
It'll be a red carpet, roll out the red carpet type of event.
We're going to have to postpone that.
No.
Wait a minute. You can't
You're
schedule.
locked into this one.
You know when hunting season hits.
I verified all this.
Either that or everybody's just got to stay real quiet for 6 hours a day.
We're going to do this in Senatobia. This is a VIP experience. You guys are going to come sit out and freeze you.
So this week, or actually it was last week, on Friday, you cooked a prime rib to take to fish camp?
I did. We went on a little fishing trip on the White River in Calico Rock, Arkansas. We went trout fishing with Waylon and some of his old work buddies. Actually, one of my bosses, former boss, Cliff Jackson. He'd retired, but it was a bunch of older guys and a couple of younger guys, and me and Waylon and Michael, and we caught the ton of trout.
So it was a good fishing trip?
It was a great fishing trip. Cooked the whole ribeye, took down there. We ate on that for 2 days, and I smoked some bologna. Took that, and they made some peach pie. They made Jimmy made a Myra Mixon's recipe for peach pie. It's peach baked beans, and they were good. They were real good. I've done apple pie baked beans.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. I think he used like a peach nectar, and then maybe chopped up some canned peaches or something and put in there. But it was a really good baked bean.
Oh, so we might try that recipe, huh?
Yeah, I need to try it. I need to come up with my version of a peach bean.
You have a peach pie rib on your...
To do for
4th
of July, yeah. Yeah, I'm planning on still doing that. We might just peach it up 4th of July.
You took the pit barrel with you.
I did, Pit Barrel Junior. Man, we put that thing through some work. It'll flat cook, man. Yeah. If you need a grill to travel with, that's a great one.
Because it's easy to load up. Did you bring it back?
Yeah, it's back in the garage, sitting over in the corner, ready to go again.
It's kind of small, easy to pick up. I mean, I could pick it up by myself.
One person could easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I think it's a 35-gallon drum. Is what it's based on. It's like 18 inches wide.
Yeah. So
any grate for like 18-inch Weber round grill will fit in it. Comes with its own little fire pan. It's got its own little smaller chimney to put the coals in. So we don't adjust it. We open the intake wide open, stick some foil down there to hold it, make sure it don't close on us. Put a few unlit coals in the bottom, get that chimney going, dump it on top, put the lid on, and who knows what temp you're cooking at. We were just rocking and rolling.
Because there's no dampers on that thing.
Not really, because it's got the holes open at the top for the rebar rods.
Yeah.
Because that's for hanging stuff if you want to hang, but it's also got a flat grate.
What'd you hang on there one time? It was delicious. Do you remember?
On the pit barrel? I know I've done some stuff on it before. I can't remember what it was though.
Well, now I gotta look it up.
Was it
It was like picanha, maybe?
Yeah, but I don't think that was on the pit barrel though. I did that on the Gateway, didn't I?
No.
Did I do it on the Pit Barrel Junior? It's really good. I mean, they got all kinds of attachments for hanging stuff on it. You could do vegetables, you could do chickens, you could do sausages. I mean, they've got different, they've got baskets to where you can fill them up with stuff and
It was
hang them.
Kanya when you,
Yeah,
folded
it was on the pit
over.
barrel too.
It was on the pit barrel,
Oh,
the junior.
okay. I don't have a full size one. All I got's the small
Yeah.
one. But
You
I
just have
liked
the
it because we
gateway.
would take it to steak contests, and like we wanted to just cook something for us. I used it for I smoked that bologna at home, but when we got there, warmed it back up, and then the next night we took it and made sandwiches. So we sliced the bologna thick and then kind of resauced it and put it just flat on the grate over there and charred up the bottoms and tops of it. Man, it was really good.
Did you put slaw on top of the?
Yeah, they made a slaw.
bologna?
Yep, they made a slaw. Yeah, that's
So
what
it's
we
like
had.
bun, bologna, slaw.
Yeah, we didn't have no sauce. I didn't bring any sauce. I forgot to bring sauce and rubs, all that stuff. I went to the store there. They had a little Harps grocery store, and I bought what did I buy? Some Lowry seasoned salt and some Cavenders because I cooked some trout too, and I took 2 sticks of butter, had Michael mash them up, and chopped up some parsley and garlic, squeezed a little lemon juice in there, and kind of made a little compound butter, and stuffed the trout cavity with that. Cooked the trout whole. They just gut
On the pit barrel?
Yeah. I put them in a metal pan, stuffed them with the butter, and put some butter on top and bottom. Put a layer of lemons on the bottom of the pan. Just put a few slices of lemon and onion inside in that butter mixture and stuffed in the cavity and just put them on that pit. And we cooked them.
Did you keep them in the
30 minutes.
pan
Yeah.
when you were cooking it?
Yeah, it held 5. Well, I think it held 4 trout. A pan. They're pretty good sized trout,
Yeah.
But it I did
So it was a
30
small
minutes, and then we covered them up with foil. It was about 20 minutes, covered them up with foil, and then let them really get cooked.
Pan? And you
30
just,
minutes total.
So you just kind of use your fork and pull the meat off the
Yeah, I took the
fillet.
trout out. So after they got done, I kind of took some tongs and lifted each one out and put it on a platter. And then you could get it, if you wanted the whole fish, you could put the whole fish on your plate. But we just kind of took forks and pulled the
Pulled the
fillet off and left the bones. So it was really good.
Did you have a lot
Sprinkled
of
it
bones?
with a little more parsley. I mean, not in the fillets. I mean, because you can kind of pick them. You can take the meat off. But yeah, those rainbows have a lot of bones.
That's why I've never been a big fan of it.
Now, the second night when we got back home, Michael wanted to fry some because the guy at the dock said, the best way to eat them is fry them, which I've always grilled them some kind of way. But we took the fillets, and they still have, you can feel those little pin bones in the fillets because that's the way the trout skeleton runs. It's got little extra free-form bones in it.
It just gets wild.
Yeah, but you fry them and they kind of dissolve. So it was really good fried, and that was where the Lowrys and the Cavenders come in. So you put Cavenders on it, put Lowrys on it, then you dredge it in cornmeal, fry it in peanut oil, whatever you want to fry it in, and it takes about 8 minutes per fillet, something like that. Man, they're crunchy.
They were.
No fishy taste whatsoever. I wouldn't say they're good as a catfish, but they're good.
Yeah, because y'all did that when you got back home Sunday night, and so I got to try those, and they were really good. They had a good flavor. They were, had the crispy edges that I like of fried fish, but it wasn't as good as a catfish.
Yeah, there's no way. It needed some of my homemade
Tartar
blue
sauce.
plate tartar sauce.
Speaking of blue plate,
I know that's what brought that up. You got all this.
The elephant in the room.
You've got these mayo products sitting here in front of me. What are these, Shell?
So last week, Tyler said that he was working on a blue plate sponsorship. So I was sitting in front of my computer and I thought about it, and I pulled up blue plate. Anyway, I started looking and I realized they have all these new flavors that I did not know about. So I had to order them.
Yeah, this one is Go Bold spicy cilantro sauce.
That sounds exactly like something I want.
Exactly.
Spicy cilantro sauce. I see you got some spoons. Are you fixing to go to trying this raw mayo stuff?
Raw mayo.
Just with nothing on it. Just a
This one's chipotle lime mayonnaise.
Looks good. This one says add a bold flavor to elevate everyday meals. Our spicy cilantro sauce is delicious on gourmet sandwiches, bowls, tacos, and more.
Those are my favorite things.
I'm with you on tacos. What's more, like bologna sandwich?
Yeah, whatever you want it to be.
Now this is the old classic sandwich spread here. I hadn't seen that stuff. I didn't know. Blue Plate didn't make the one my granny bought. She always had sandwich spread, and she tried to convince us it was like McDonald's special sauce. So and I guess it's close. I don't know. I had never tried this one. I don't remember what brand. Do y'all remember what brand sandwich spread. Was it Kraft or Kraft sandwich spread or something?
No.
Gotta be like Kraft or Hellman's or.
What
I know
company make Miracle Whip? Does it Kraft make Miracle Whip? Is it Kraft Miracle Whip?
that sounds right.
But they had a
Kraft.
sauce that looked that color, and it was basically like
Kraft and Heinz.
mayo ketchup and dill pickles, or not dill pickles. What do you call it? Sweet relish.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sweet relish.
It looks like special sauce.
It does. You
Um,
smear it on a bologna sandwich.
Yeah, I try it.
I will-
Of course, yeah.
I will say two things that I don't like. Normal people wouldn't have on everything that I will is cilantro and mayonnaise. So I mean, I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
that one was made for people like me.
Now this I
love
like,
cilantro and
but you got to have
mayonnaise.
the lime too. So I wonder if this has lime in it.
I don't know. Oh, so guess who
Oh,
shipped
look.
it?
Who?
This is crazy. So I went to blueplate.com and actually
Yeah.
ordered it, but it was shipped by the CajunGrocer.com.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. 'Cause it's
So-
made down in Louisiana.
Yeah. So I don't know if the Blue Plate owns the Cajun Grocer or they are partnered or something, but I thought that was very interesting.
All I'm hearing is we need to reach out to Cajun Grocer.
Yeah.
We're gonna start using this front of binder and everything. I'm gonna pull out all the stops.
I don't see any lime. It's
Have you
got
ever used
jalapeno.
mayonnaise as a binder for ribs?
No, but I'm willing to if y'all want me to.
Mark put mayonnaise in his burgers for
So-
his recipe this week.
The mayor Reggie used to say when they always did
The mayor
Memphis May
barbecue
cooking.
bill, yeah.
Reggie was doing a KCBS, and he said, "Man, I never seen anything like it. They boiled that chicken in mayonnaise." So they took all their chicken thighs and put mayonnaise, like we put butter on it, and cooked it in mayonnaise. He said they boiled it in mayonnaise. I guess it's kind of
Boiled
like
it in mayonnaise.
I don't do that story justice because he's got that's his boiling chicken and mayonnaise story, and his monkey story are two of the funniest ones that I have to have him tell me every time I'm around him.
Reggie cooks with Ubon's Barbecue.
Yeah.
And he is the mayor of Barbecueville. Barbecue
I think it's the unofficial mayor of
Oh, yeah,
Barbecueville or something.
There is no Barbecueville.
If it was, Reggie would be the mayor.
He's appointed himself, and I second that motion.
Yeah. I got to get him to tell you that monkey story, Tyler, because it's hilarious. They always went up and cook the block party in New York, and there was something about somebody had a monkey up there or something and
It threatened his life.
threatened his life. Yeah.
All I can think about right now is like I don't know if this is before y'all, or this is after y'all's time rather, but they used to have this old McDonald's like they had live action and cartoon, and there was the mayor of Burger Town. He was like
Yes.
this giant burger that
Yes.
just talked. That's all I can think of.
Your recipe this week was a brown sugar bourbon chicken skewers.
That's right.
Where'd you get that recipe? Where'd you come up with that? What was your inspiration?
This nice lady made them. One of the most talented, beautiful women I know come up with that recipe. And it was your recipe. You did them so we had a little event here it's the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
And every a business once a month or whatever, one of the businesses in town host an after hours type cocktail hour.
Yeah.
And so you did some appetizers, and one of them was these chicken skewers. And he bought boneless, skinless chicken thighs, cut them into strips, trim the fat, cut them into strips.
Not too much of the fat.
Yeah, you want some because it chars up nice and it's delicious.
Yeah.
But those big thick pockets, you want to get some of it. You just clean them up, basically clean them up. And then you skewer them on wooden skewers to where it's kind of like,
You cut them into strips and skewer
and
them.
it's kind of like a little chicken patty strip on a stick.
Yeah.
And then you marinated them. And you just bought store-bought marinade. Was it McCormick's
Brown sugar bourbon.
brown sugar? But you could marinate them whatever you wanted to.
You could.
But that was so easy. And
You
it's
could
like
take them in all different directions
Yeah.
as flavors.
some jerk ones would be good. That's what I want to do next. But the key is the thigh. The thigh
said
stays juicy. The thigh, and so you can grill it. It chars up. It grills fast. You marinate it. It says 30 minutes, but 2 hours. You could probably go overnight.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could marinate a thigh too long.
That's what I was thinking. I'd be careful with like a red meat,
Yeah.
over marinating and those type of things. But
Tell you what would be
Chicken?
good. Like
No.
marinate it Grande Gringo and, some spices like that, maybe some hot sauce, and then put it on some tacos,
yes,
spicy cilantro. I
you
like-
could grab the skewer,
yeah, that's what
just use
that's
the
what I like
taco
about it.
shell to pull it right off.
Yep.
They were real tender and they stayed really juicy.
The marinade breaks it down some, but
Yeah.
it still holds its juice. Ton of flavor. And all I did was season it. I wanted to kick it up the spice and I wanted to caramelize a little more. So I mixed a quarter cup of brown sugar, a quarter cup of turbinado sugar in the raw, and a teaspoon of ground cayenne just to give it some heat. And I stirred that up and tasted it. And I was like, yeah, that's got a kick. And it was sweet. So it went really well with that marinade. I seasoned them with that a little bit and then just made a 2-zone fire in my Weber. You could do this on any grill.
We did it on a pellet grill.
Yeah. When y'all did them?
Yeah.
I mean, I like being able to char it over the hot coals first, and that's why I chose to do the Weber.
We're way better.
But you can do it on the drum or whatever. But you need, there's something about charred up chicken and thighs especially that just reminds me of summertime. It's tender, it's juicy. Even when they're cold, they're good. Mm-hmm. They are fantastic. And so I did them, it was like 3 to 4 minutes on each side over the hot side of the coals. And then I moved them over and just kind of piled them up on one side, let them finish up to temp, and then glazed them with straight up Captain Rodney's, the Scotch Bonnet Buchan glaze out of the bottle. Brush that on them, 1 more minute on the hot side, flip them 1 more minute, and then they're ready to go. It's a easy appetizer. You can make a meal off of them.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you served them with tacos, or heck, you can make a sandwich with that. You can just eat it off the stick, dipped in barbecue sauce like I served it up. I like the idea that it's something quick that you could prep the day before. The grill time's less than 30 minutes. It's going to take you longer to get your coals hot than it would have cooked this chicken. And then you're ready to go. And you can do a bunch of them at one time.
Yeah. That's something good to take to like a barbecue, your neighborhood barbecue, or folks will be saying, who brought this?
Who showed up with the chicken or whatever this is on a stick.
But kids like it. Michael was getting down on them too. He liked them a lot.
They like it just because it's on a stick. That's what he's like. Oh, you need to do this and fry them and all this.
But they're just good.
Yeah, and easy. You could put other stuff on there if you wanted to add some vegetables. I would add something that cooks quick.
Yeah,
you couldn't put potatoes. Yeah, zucchini or squash would be good on it. You could add pineapple to it. You could probably get by with a slice of onion or something. Little cherry tomatoes would be good.
Yeah,
because they blister so fast.
I love a blistered cherry tomato.
You could
You could go with like a Mediterranean type flavor.
Yeah. That would be good to do with pitas.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of,
grill some artichokes on there.
You could probably do that. Stick some artichoke heart on there or something.
Make it tzatziki.
Yep. Shredded lettuce, some tomatoes, and rock to it.
One thing, a lot of people will, do the trimming and the cutting, then marinate, then skewer.
Yeah.
We
made it easier.
Skewered. It does make it a little challenging to marinate with the stick, but you get a flat pan, you can put it in a casserole dish or something.
And with that marinade, it don't have to be like submerged like you're thinking of a steak marinade. You just want to get it on all sides and let it just kind of hang out.
Yeah.
And it kind of drains off or works its way into the meat. There wasn't a ton of it. Like it kind of absorbed it.
No, you didn't have to shake it or.
But the sticks, the sticks didn't burn up as bad. And we just used a cheap wooden skewer. A lot of times, if you don't soak your skewers first, they'll burn up on you. Well, these kind of soaked in that marinade, so they got some of that in them. And they got a little dark, but they still held together well. They didn't break off. You could get the chicken off of it easy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't have one that kind of burned or anything.
I like doing it that way because it's like you pull your chicken out and you do all the chickeny stuff.
Yeah.
Get it skewered and ready to go.
Then you don't have to worry about that mess.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then you marinate it already skewered. You pull it out of the marinade and go straight to the grill. You could take this on a tailgate.
And you could do other meat besides chicken that same way. If you wanted to do pork chops, like get pork loin or pork tenderloin, cut them into strips.
You did one recipe.
Beef would be good. Get some sirloin steak or either a flat iron or something like that. Cut it thin and put it on there like that. You can make all kinds of little satays or whatever. Is that what like chicken satay?
Yeah.
Where they do? It's is that an Indian dish or a Mediterranean dish of some kind?
I've seen it.
To look that up.
Indian.
I think it's Indian. But they do, they do different ones and they put them in those clay pots with the fire, and that's how they cook them on a stick like that.
But it looks very, very similar, and it is chicken satay. They're served with peanut sauce a lot of times.
Yeah, they do one.
Indonesian.
Like I was going to say, Chinese buffets will have that little chicken thigh on a stick, and you're not sure if it's chicken or what. But
it says
you ever seen those?
All too familiar.
You used to tell me that's rat.
That's a rat or cat. I don't know. It probably ain't chicken.
You just don't think about it. You just
you play rat or cat. You don't ever play rat or cat at the Chinese buffet. Foot on that critter so I can tell what it is. When we kill coons and possums and stuff, you have to leave the foot on them. or rabbits. That way I know
Yep.
who you're
You tell
selling it to. If it's a, let me identify that animal.
It is a Southeast Asia dish, satay.
Okay. It's really good. You could definitely go Asian with that. I mean, easy.
Oh, ooh, that's
They
serve
make
it with some rice.
they make all these. I mean, now I'm not saying you can't make up your own marinade. Of course, I do that a lot of times. But a lot of times, I'll buy one of them 30-minute marinades just to be quick.
They're usually pretty good.
They are.
The McCormick's got some brands that are good.
Kroger has some store brands that are really good.
They're private selection, Kroger private selection.
They've got a teriyaki that I use a lot. They've got. I want to say they had a jerk.
They do have a
It's
jerk.
pretty good.
They have a cilantro lime that I really
Maybe they
like.
call it Caribbean. They don't call it jerk. They call it Caribbean marinade. They've got a cilantro lime that's awesome on chicken. We use that for chicken tacos all the time.
For your jerk, you usually use that.
Walker's Wood.
Yeah, Walker's Wood.
If I don't make up my own, if I'm
Yeah.
just going fast.
Yeah, so you usually. So you're not opposed to a store bought marinade?
No, not at all. I mean, by the time I buy all the ingredients and make it up, I just put some time and some money into it. I can buy a $4 bottle of marinade and be ready to roll and soup it up, add my flavors to it. A lot of times I'll, if I'm doing a jerk flavor, I'll add my jerk rub to it. And then if I want it hotter, I can add some extra pepper or something and roll.
Yeah.
But it's just a good it's just a good base. And you could do that with that brown sugar. If you wanted to add some more bourbon to it, you could add a shot of bourbon to it. If you wanted to kick up the seasoning some, because I just kept it simple. I mean, the seasoning was super simple on that, but it didn't need any more salt. It had all the savoriness. I think that little extra sugar kick to help that caramelize is why I went that route. And then glazed it with the Rodneys. It had everything it needed.
It had, once it was done, you were eating it. It had like a small heat element.
Yeah, definitely. Because the Rodneys, the Captain Rodneys is spicy. I put the cayenne and the sugar, and then there's some heat in that bourbon brown sugar marinade too.
Doubt
so
they
not
put
much.
a lot of
Yeah.
heat there.
I
But
didn't
it was
try it by itself, so I don't know what it tastes like.
that's a really good recipe.
It's super easy. I think people like to try that one, and that's one you can just put in the rotation that's quick.
Yep.
Speaking of stuff on sticks, I just wanted to bring this up real quick. I was at the movies the other day, and I found out that they serve pronto pups at the movies now.
Real
Official
deal,
pronto pups.
or State Fair corn dogs.
Like they're not as good as like the best of the best pronto pups that you've ever had,
Yeah.
but they're pretty damn good for it being
Yeah, for being a movie theater.
at the movie theater.
Yeah, I didn't know they had-
Absolutely.
Every time I've seen I don't know, some convenient, like J&J One Stop has some good corn dogs. Now, I don't know I know they're not batter dipping them back there, but just the way
I think it's the way they fry
they
them.
fried so much chicken in it, everything tastes like fried chicken. But man, you tell them to make them extra crispy, God, they're good. It's hard to beat a corn dog.
I love a good corn dog. Was the corn dog you had at the movie? Did you got
buy
one?
Did you get one?
Oh, I
Or
did.
you saw?
No, I did, and
Did you
like
put mayonnaise on it?
I did.
Did you really? At the
Every
movie?
bite. Well, it's dark.
Do it in
Nobody,
the- I was
nobody
gonna
can.
say, did you do it in the dark in the theater?
All I had to do is sit there and look at my wife, look at me in shame. I mean, that's fine. I'm used to that.
Like if you'd have did it out in the concourse and just mayoed it up, people would have ran out probably.
They've been taking
made 'em-
pictures.
I was just so impressed that how far movie theaters have come with stuff that we have pronto pups and deep fried Oreos and
That's a good poll, Tyler. See if people put mayonnaise on corn dogs. How many?
That
people
is
put
a
mayonnaise
good
on
poll.
corn
Let's
dogs?
put that on the community. Did you have a pronto pup at Memphis MA?
I didn't. All right. So everybody else had tried one first, and so this had such a bad reputation at that point that I wasn't.
Oh, they were terrible.
wanting to try it.
Worst example of a pronto pup. They need their card pulled. Pronto pup should have showed up,
I need
pulled their
to-
card.
Yeah, I need to make an official complaint
Yeah.
with Mr. Pup.
Mr. Pup.
I think it was y'all's story really that did it. Like if it had just been one person trying it, kind of like, I don't know. But then y'all said that when you were walking in, and I was like, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
When the lemonade and the batter were still sitting there from the day before, and it's like they're going to use that. When I walked by, it's like, "Shell, they're fixing to reuse that."
But we still ate one.
Still got it. It was not good.
The gold cans will do that to you.
The gold tops will make you try anything. It's like it wasn't done, and then the hot dog was this weird color gray.
And it was too salty, and I love salty.
Yeah, it's like they put extra salt on a corn dog. I was like, how is that even possible to oversalt? I don't know.
They looked great, like those sausage, like those frozen sausage and wrapped in pancakes or whatever.
Yeah,
the breakfast ones. That's kind of what they reminded me of.
That's
it's
not
supposed to be a hot dog.
I mean, it'd been a while now. Granted, it's been a while since I had a pronto.
Me too.
I mean, COVID, and hadn't been to any festivals, and it's probably been 2 years since I had a pronto pup.
Probably.
And that was very disappointing. That was not a pronto pup. That's not how they're supposed to be. Those hot dogs may have been 2 years old. I don't know. Maybe they're going through their old stock.
Yeah, we usually get one at Memphis in May. That's usually like the one time a year I get one.
Get a pronto, unless you go somewhere like a fair or something.
Yeah.
If I go to the fair, I'm getting a pronto pup.
Or chicken on a stick.
Yeah.
So have you seen this Gravity Series digital charcoal grill from Masterbuilt?
Yeah. I hadn't seen one in person, but I know of them.
Are they new? This is the first I've seen of them.
No, they've been out for a couple years.
Okay.
Couple years.
They're funny looking little grills.
I mean, so it's a take on the gravity fed smoker. And I guess, does it have a controller? Yeah, I think it does. Almost like a pellet type controller, doesn't it? My buddy McCrory found one at like a scratch and dent place, and he said it cooks awesome.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
But do you just put regular charcoal in it?
It don't have a controller, does it?
I think so.
Oh, I see it over there on that shelf.
Yeah.
I thought maybe one of them does and one of them don't. I don't know their models. I don't know. But yeah, you put it in that chute on the side, and it starts a fire on the bottom, and as it needs more coals, gravity kind of drops it in there as it uses them, and you smoke over on the side. You know, there's a lot probably the best brand that I know of gravity feds is the Deep South. Randall Bone makes them over there. You know, Heath cooks on them.
That's a whole different level. This is a $500
Well, this is
grill.
one for your backyard.
Yeah.
It's kind of a gravity fed for your backyard. It's what they were going for. As far as I know, they work great. I've never cooked on one myself, but I've heard good things about them.
Well, I was on the community page gathering some questions for today for the podcast, and someone had asked about it.
I need to get my hands on one just to use it. Maybe that's an out the smoke thing. Maybe we can get one of those and give an honest review of it.
That's a great idea. I mean,
I've never cooked on gravity fed smoker, like ever.
Period.
Yeah. I was gonna borrow one. Like Heath's like, man, I got one. You just want to check it out sometime. He's gonna bring it over and let me borrow it just to cook on it. Because you never know what flavor profiles are different. But most of those guys I know cook in pans on them. Because what I've seen one guy, I remember at Memphis in May, about burnt the whole dang place down cooking on one because they had it loaded with butts and it was dripping down in there and all that grease built up in the bottom of it, and then it flashed and then fire went back up the chute. And it was a disaster. But that was a gravity fed. So that's kind of always been my deterrent of cooking on one. But Heath does really well cooking with them, and a lot of guys do.
Loves them. Yeah. Him and Candace.
They control, they hook gurus up to them. So they can really control that pit temp really well with it. And if you cook in pan, you don't have to worry about getting your smoker dirty because the drippings ain't going down to the bottom where it can grease fire.
But to me, doesn't that prevent smoke penetration?
Well, they cook on raised racks and pans. And so you're still getting circulation. Now, it probably does. Anytime I've cooked in pans, it slows things down because of the mass you put in there, and it acts like a diverter almost.
Yeah.
So if you're cooking something like brisket or shoulders or pork butts or something like that, it does great because, you want long cooks, you're slowing it down, you're rendering the fat, you're still getting all the smoke from it. But to me, like if I'm cooking smaller stuff like ribs or, chicken, we cook in pans anyway, so I guess ribs would be the only thing. I don't know. I guess it would still work. That's why I said I need to experiment one. I've never really cooked on one.
Well,
I might cook on them and love them. You never know.
I'm curious. This is a $500 grill from Lowe's, so.
Yeah, I think Lowe's, Home Depot, probably Ace, get them out. I don't know if Walmart sells them. It might.
Maybe.
But $500 ain't bad for a gravity-fed pit.
Mm-mm.
I don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah,
I
it's
probably made out of
cheap.
cheap, thin metal.
So what I have today is a bunch of questions that I collected from the community.
Okay.
I was going to run them through you. First one, it just popped in my head. What happens when your grill catches on fire? What is the protocol?
Shut it down. Shut off all air. Don't open it up.
Do not open it up.
Do not open it up. Just cut the airflow off. Cut your, if you can get to your vents, close them. If you throw something, put a can over the top, put something over the exhaust, shut it off. Keep the lid closed. Let it burn itself out. Because it's going out. You probably ruined anything you got on it, but you'll save the grill. You won't tear the grill up. I mean, it's just going to happen. But if you keep them clean, you won't have to worry about it. I mean, it shouldn't catch on fire. I mean, I'm not saying it can't, but most of the time I've seen somebody catch one on fire is because they let too much grease built up in it. They weren't cleaning that grill properly, and they get a fire.
Yep. A lot of times, well, the one time I saw at Memphis in May, it was a backwoods. They let the water pan go dry. That grease just collected in the bottom.
Start smelling it first, and then by the time you get to there, it's fixing to flash.
And they tried to open the doors and get a fire extinguisher.
At that point, man, that's terrible. They have to stick a fire extinguisher down it. I've seen it done though many times. Mark and Jamie saved one at Memphis in May one time beside us. It was a backwoods. They let it run dry.
I think that was the same.
They opened up. Yeah, they opened up that door, and it just burnt the tin up. Flames roaring out. You can't warp the door. Because once you open that door, it's really putting air in there, so it's making an inferno. All that grease has got to burn up before it's going to go out, or you got to kill the oxygen where it can't burn. You just got to watch it.
So, first question.
Don't let your water pan run dry.
Do
That's
not let
the moral
your
of that
water.
story.
It has a very unique smell. Like
Heck,
you can smell it.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. It's been several.
It's easy to do. You get out there, you get
a few whiskey drinks in you, and night man, and all of a sudden you done burnt the stuff up.
I've seen some very experienced cooks do it.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So this guy, he said he cooked a butt, brought it to work. Now he's got all these people wanting him to cook butts for him. What does he do? Like, what does he charge?
You
How
can
does
do
he
it two
figure out
ways.
the price?
I mean,
and a lot of people are commenting on, don't do it because you might get somebody sick.
I mean, that's we've all done it. Cook something for somebody.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it ain't like you're trying to start a business and get sued. First off, I wouldn't do it for nobody that I thought was going to sue me. You know? But I mean, I've done them to where I buy everything and charge you so much to cook it. Going rate on like a butt. If you're doing a butt sale right now, it's probably $40 a butt. $35-$40 minimum.
I think it's 40 right now that I've seen.
Is what I would say. I mean, that's you buying the butt and everything, and then staying up and cooking it, which is really not a good deal because you got all the hours involved. But that's just what it's going for. That's probably what I'd have to charge, at least 40 for one.
At least 40.
If they bought the butt, I mean, I might cook it for $10-$15. If I didn't have to buy the butt. I mean, the way we used to figure it was, you could get a butt for around $10. It cost you about $10 to cook it. Then I want to make something for my time, so $25-$30 back in the day. Well, now all that's went up, so that's how we get to 40 now, because $15-$20 for a butt probably.
Yeah.
Then $10 to cook it. Well, that's $30. If you're making $10, that's 40. So
what's the best way to deliver it? Are you going to give it to them whole, or are you going to?
I'd rather pull it and give it. Depending on how many I'm cooking, I mean, depends on how they want it. But I'd rather pull it and vacuum seal it. That way, I know it was done. I got it properly pulled at the right temp. Then I got it chilled and froze. It's on them at that point. Nothing I did would have contaminated it.
Yeah.
If you give it to them whole, it's best to have it, give it to them fresh off the pit, and tell them they've got 4 hours, either eat it or get it in the refrigeration or freeze it. That's the best way. But
it's harder to pull a butt once it gets cold.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, if I was getting one, I'd probably, go ahead and give it to be pulled.
Yeah, I mean, does it bother you to get it pulled?
No, because usually we're going to serve it.
I'd rather have it pulled.
Yeah, usually we're going to serve it, so somebody's got to pull it.
And
it stays fresher longer whole, but I mean, I don't know. To me, if it's already vacuum sealed, it's good to go. That's usually
unless they're
I've
picking
vacuum
it up
sealed them
hot.
whole and I've vacuum sealed them pulled.
Unless they're picking it up hot.
Yeah, if they're picking it up hot, I'll give it to them in a pan wrapped in foil.
Yeah,
leave it on them. That's the easiest way. But he's probably talking about transporting to work. You might have to cook them the day before. I'd go ahead and get it pulled and cooled off properly.
If you do vacuum seal them whole, I will say remove the bone.
Yeah,
the bone
it poke
can
holes. Yeah,
poke
it's
holes,
and it's so easy to take the bone. That's the first thing I do is pull the bone out, just because it cools it faster. You get that heat away from it. It's already built up, and it'll cool out in a few 30 minutes, and then you can put them in the fridge.
I feel like that's a good way to also tell if it's cooked properly.
Yeah, it's like an instant read thermometer is what I say. It's like it's got them pop outs like a turkey does. You pop that bone right out, it's done. If it's tight, it ain't.
Have you ever added curry to a rub?
No. I'm not a big fan of curry. I've had some that's okay, but I'm just not a big fan of using it.
Yeah.
I'm nothing wrong.
I've had some like curried goat that was really good.
Yeah. I've never really had that much Indian food. Now I've had some, I guess it's Thai curry.
Yeah.
From Thai restaurants or from Vietnamese restaurant. That's where we had the goat, and it was good, but it's a different kind of curry. They use some curry in Jamaican cooking too, and it's a different kind of curry. So
it's not as
I
strong.
guess I've never really personally played with it too much, but I've had it to where sometimes it's good and sometimes it's super strong. So I'd say use it according to your taste. Nothing wrong with it. You can just get strong. What's in it?
So they said might be a rookie question, but can someone explain the difference between a clean and dirty smoke, and how do you keep it clean?
So clean smoke is almost clear. I mean, they call it thin light blue smoke, but it's almost like you can't see. You can tell it's smoking, you can smell it smoking, but you can't see a whole lot of it.
You can see the heat register.
Yeah. But if it's dirty smoke, it's going to be thick. It's going to be kind of white. It might be black even. And that's just impurities burning off. And the reason why you want it clean is because those impurities that are making that smoke colored are getting in your meat. And so you're burning off whatever, it could be chemicals, it could be moisture, it could be several things in the wood. But a good dry, aged wood should just put off clean smoke. Now, a lot of it has to do with your airflow too. So to get that clean smoke, you got to have proper fire. You got to have a good bed of coals. It's got to have good oxygen. When you put your wood on there, it goes to smoking, smoldering, and then it goes to BTUs. So that's how you get the good clean smoke. You want proper ventilation. If you got too much meat on there, it's going to stifle it. If you're overloading your cooker or whatever, but you just want to adjust your vents to where it's breathing properly. Now sometimes you'll see thicker smoke depending on humidity outside, and that's not really bad smoke there. That's just because it's warmer coming out the pit and it's changing as it hits the air. So like early in the mornings and things like that, you'll see thicker. It's not really bad smoke.
Yeah, well, you see that coming off the lake.
Yeah, off our swimming pool if it's heated.
So it's just about having a good fire
and airflow,
good airflow, good
and
wood.
good wood. Yeah, that's your main things that are going to have good smoke. As long as you got a good bed of coals, proper airflow, and you're using good dry wood.
And the way you're getting clean smoke is you don't see
much of it.
Yeah.
It's just if you do see it, it's real thin and kind of bluish, not thick and white or dark.
So
white smoke's usually really, really wet wood. That's more moisture, and then dark smoke's other impurities cooking out, or not proper airflow. So it's not really smoking. It's just kind of off gassing and not getting hot enough to get for the wood to burn properly.
So is that what they call like blue smoke? Is that clean smoke?
Yeah. Thin blue smoke. You'll say thin blue smoke. That's clean, good smoke.
I got you.
Almost invisible.
So this question, I'm curious. They said Kimona or Big Green Egg. I kind of thought they were the same thing.
I mean, principally they're the same. It's just different brands. I mean, Big Green Egg's probably one of the most popular, but Kamato's a really popular brand too. I don't know if they cook any different. It's the same principle. It's just depending on which style of one you want, which company you want to spend your money. It's like Ford and Chevy. They both make good grills.
And they're very similar and they cook similar.
My brother Waylon has a Kamato, and I have Big Green Egg, and they cook the same. He's got the smaller, I think it's the 18-inch version. I got an XL egg, and they cook great.
I have seen.
The only thing I really don't like about, one.
Which one? Kimono or Green Egg?
The style of cookers is you have to shut them down so much. You have to restrict the airflow so much. It's hard to get that good smoke. It seems like I have to put more chunks on it, and then when I do, you have to regulate it more, and it's just not as good as like smoking up a drum or a stick burner or something, or my old hickory.
What if you're grilling?
Grilling is great at high temps. It works like a champ. But slow smoking, they'll hold low temps and they'll hold it forever. But it's hard to get smoke flavor because you're restricting the air on the grill so much. Because see, what you do, you get enough coals going to where the heat builds up and the ceramic gets hot, but then it's, you've got it choked down. It's barely open, barely letting air in, barely letting air out. And so it's not really flowing good. It's not conducive to really burning good smoke. So it is harder to get that clean smoke on one. But also, I've noticed that moisture builds up in them bad. So, I like to burn lump in mine so I can put it out and reuse that lump. But if you don't watch it, when you shut that dude down, you close off all the air on it, it traps. If you've got heat in there, you shut it down. I guess it makes some kind of moisture in it, or moisture gets in it some kind of way. It can mold real easy. So what you have to do when you put it out, you store that grill or just have it, set to the side with a cover on it. You need to open it back up and let some kind of air flow through it, or it can mold on you. And so if you don't remember to do that, you're going to have to build a fire, get all that mold off before you. I've done it.
We had to do it recently, right?
Yeah. That's what got me thinking about that. And I don't cook on my egg often enough to open. So I always have to remember to go out there and make sure it's cracked and get some airflow. A water cooker will do that too. If you don't get it dried out good and you have it shut down all the way, no airflow, and it'll mold on you quick.
That will gag you.
Oh yeah, there's nothing worse than a water pan hadn't been drained shut up.
Just thinking about it.
That's another smell you'll never forget. It is horrid. Tyler, you've probably never seen that. I need to mold one just to show you.
That's okay.
Never had a pellet grill mold. Never had my drum mold.
There's a lot of airflow moving through that pellet grill. You don't get to shut them down tight.
Right. I have had an old hickory.
I was thinking, have you ever had an old hickory? Because they have.
If you're gonna get the grease and stuff out of it, they seal up pretty tight too. Stick burner, it'd probably rust the grate before it do anything. Cause usually you can't shut them all the way down either. They're getting some air in them, some kind of way.
Somebody wanted to know about a Tres Major. They said, "What do you know about this cat?"
I know it's delicious, and I've been shown what area it comes from in the shoulder region, but I couldn't go back and get it myself. I'm no butcher, but it is as good as filet mignon at a cheaper price, and it's delicious.
Yeah,
it's a muscle that's up in the shoulder of a cow that doesn't get worked much, so it's super tender. It looks a lot like a petite filet or something when it comes out. And it cooks. I mean, that and hanger steak are two of the most underrated cuts on a cow that come off the shoulder. I mean, they are just absolutely melt in your mouth, delicious.
They're harder to find.
Yeah, you don't see you're not going to go to the grocery store and find them. Yeah. You're going to have to go to a butcher shop or somewhere that sells specialty cuts, or order it from Kevin down at the butcher shop.
What's the guy that brought us some? He has a butcher shop in North Memphis.
Oh, it's out. Where is that? What town is it called?
I'll have to look that up. It's Arlington.
It's in Arlington. Yeah. I have to look that. Jamie's buddies with him. I need to look him up.
He brought us some Tres Majors, and we cooked those like a month ago or something.
Yeah, delicious.
How'd y'all cook them? Do you remember?
Man, you just sear them. You just season them and sear them. You don't cook them long.
Is it
you can reverse
Charlie's or is it Louis?
Louis was the. Is there Louis in Arlington? That might be it, because he sells that Chicago Italian beef marinade. Isn't that Louis' brand?
I'll have to.
I think he's part of that family some kind of way.
Yeah.
I remember I met him at the grand opening.
Yes.
And he had brought that steak and wanted us to try it. And it was really good. You might get a local out there in Covington. Yeah.
So, if you ever come across a Tres Major,
buy it and just season it and sear it like you do a steak. It don't take long to cook, and you want to cook it, much past medium rare. And it'll melt in your mouth. You can cut it with a fork. It's just delicious. It's really, really good meat. And the hanger steak, you can get all of those. Those are delicious too.
Can you do burnt ends from the flat of a brisket?
I've seen restaurants do it. Can you cube a flat? Yes. I mean, it's just like cube slices,
Don't waste
so
brisket.
it's too dense. You don't have the fat in it. The reason why the point works so great is because it's marbled. Usually, even on a choice brisket, that point end's marbled up. So you get those pockets of fat that's rendered in it as it's cooked, and it kind of melts in your mouth. Well, flat doesn't really melt in your mouth. That's why we cut it kind of 1/4 inch thick. And it'll pull apart, and it's good beef. But it ends up being like you're cutting it with the grain some because you're trying to make these cubes with it. And it's awkward. It's like a chunk of roast kind of or something like that,
And you'd be better off buying like a chuck roast if you're going to do that.
Yeah,
right?
I would do it with a chuck roast just because of the more fat content. If I was needing to make extra burn ends like that, you could do it. It's just not the best.
And brisket's really expensive, to cube up like that.
Flat especially.
This
You can
person,
find all points. Now that's the ticket. And I know out in Kansas City you can get all points because that's where
Fergie.
Fergie brought those from.
So this person wants some help for crawfish boil. They're planning a crawfish boil. They're using your recipe. How do they figure out how much crawfish to cook?
4 pounds per person.
That's your average?
That's what I always go with. 4 pounds per person because you're going to get some women, some kids, and some guys that'll eat. But 4 pounds per person is a good estimate for everybody to get plenty of crawfish.
How many pounds could you eat?
If I'm sitting down, like
eating.
did I cook them or did I just go in to eat them? Because if I cooked them, I'm probably not going to eat that many.
No.
But if I'm going to eat
Someone
crawfish,
else
I'd say
someone else who knows how to cook crawfish, cook them for you. You
8
got a cooler of beer. You got a nice, comfortable place to sit.
over the course of a day or afternoon or evening,
Yeah.
8 to 10.
8 to 10.
Yeah. And that's what crawfish eaters could probably do.
Yeah.
So that's, usually sacks are about 30, 32 pounds. And, 3 or 4 people that can eat crawfish can eat a sack. But for a get together, I figure about 8 people per sack is how we figure. But then you got to kind of, that's just in buying the crawfish. And I mean, that's very conservative too. You're probably going to have some left over. Some people won't eat but 2 pounds. Some people think they eat crawfish and don't eat a pound, but then you get some guys that'll sit there and wear you out. They can eat a sack. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody eat a sack.
That's a lot of crawfish.
I mean, 10 pounds is a lot of crawfish, but you're talking over the course, like you're not
Yeah,
going
we're
to
talking
sit down and eat
afternoon.
10 at one time. You're going to eat 4 or 5 times and eat, 2 pounds each time. That's the way I like to eat them.
Yeah.
As they're cooking, cook a sack, go get you a flat, eat that, wait on the next, because they get
Have a few
better as the
beers.
day go on,
Yeah.
and as the beers get better. And then at the end, usually, so you eat 2 or 3 flats like that over the course of it. And then by the end of it, you've got all these crawfish left, and then you need your eaters to come in and help you get rid of them. that's where the fun is.
We had
And then you sit there and peel the rest and put the tail meat up. So,
one tip about
how many people did he have? How was he trying to feed? Did it say?
Oh, he didn't.
He just want to know how we figured it.
Yeah, he was
Well,
just
I'd say
figuring
figure
how
8
much
people a
per person.
sack. That's an easy way to do it.
Yeah. One time Mark had a crawfish bowl at his house and bought how many pounds of crawfish?
Man,
1,000?
400,
400?
I think.
400 pounds of crawfish, and they
Yeah.
were gone within 30 minutes.
All of them. He had some eater. He had one lady there, a little Oriental lady, sat at the end of the table. This was like his house,
Oriental's
his
the right
backyard.
thing.
Yeah, huh?
I don't think Orientals.
Yes, she was.
Appropriate.
Oh, what's
No
Asian?
culture.
Can I say Asian then?
Yeah.
Little Asian lady.
Yes.
She was standing at the end of the table, and she did not come up for air eating crawfish. I was amazed. I ate a few standing there, at the same table, and this lady was just choo, 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 left and right, man, until the crawfish were gone. But Mark is notorious for having some eaters. Like
Yeah.
he'll have a dozen people that can eat 10 pounds. I mean, that's putting away some crawfish. He had more than that there, because as soon as they were dumping pots, they would dump a whole pot on a table and they'd just be gone.
Yep. Have you ever heard of a Texas Twinkie?
Yeah, it's a bacon wrapped jalapeno.
But it's got
Little
brisket in
popper.
it, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never put brisket. I have seen people do that.
It's a
Slice of brisket.
Because someone was talking about it on the
Was it
community.
cream cheese.
Yeah, it's brisket, cream cheese stuffed, bacon wrapped jalapenos with a
Yeah.
barbecue glaze.
We
So
call
it's
it
just
pepper poppers.
Yeah, it's just a pepper popper,
With
but
some
they
meat.
put brisket.
I'd like doing them with deer meat.
Yeah.
Deer poppers.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'd never heard
Yeah.
that
Texas Twinkie.
Texas Twinkie before.
Well, what's the other one? The armadillo eggs, where they take,
What's an armadillo egg?
I think you take a piece of sausage and you wrap it. No, maybe a boiled egg. And you wrap. I think it's either a boiled egg or a piece of sausage wrapped in more like ground sausage and then wrapped in bacon and cooked and glazed. Maybe an egg though. I think
Saw
it
those
is,
on
that like-
TikTok recently.
it's a boiled egg.
No,
That might be a good.
I don't think it was. It was sausage in this one that I saw, but it
Yeah.
might be.
That's kind of like what they call a fatty.
Uh,
But do they put cheese in the middle of the fatty and then
you
sausage?
can put anything. Most of the time, fatty's just sausage. It doesn't have anything.
Oh, it's
yeah.
sausage with the bacon wrapped
Yeah.
around it.
Or it don't have to have bacon. It could just be sausage fatty.
Okay, so it's just
Yeah,
ground
it's kind of like
sausage.
sausage meatloaf,
Yeah,
kind of. But yeah, but you could.
you did one.
I did one where I did the bacon weave on it.
Yeah, and you had some stuffing in the
But
middle.
I put cheese and stuff in there.
Yeah, like cream cheese.
That's
and
been a long time ago. I did that one.
it was good though.
It was good.
Here's a good question I don't think you've ever answered. I'm moving to a whole new house. What's the best way to transport my? They specifically asked about a big green egg, but any grill.
2 men in a truck. That's how I moved all my stuff. I didn't touch none of it.
Hire
I'm gonna put that risk on them. You put a value on your grill. And you got to tell them this when they come out. Like, I want y'all to come out and see what I'm asking you to move. But this grill is going to cost this much to replace. That's what I want it insured as if y'all damage it. And then tell them where you want to pick it up and tell them where you want to put it. That's how I did mine. I mean, moving a green egg ain't no small job.
And it's an extra large.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to take it apart. Or they didn't. These two young strapping lads showed up and manhandled that thing. Walked it from my patio to the driveway, then rolled it to the truck and lift gated it up, put it in, strapped it in, did the same thing when they got it to the new house.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It's well worth the money you spend hiring somebody.
You know how many grills there are back there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
how many they moved that day? It was a bunch.
yeah.
Could have been just a U-Haul full of that stuff.
Well, it was a Bob truck,
And this was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. I think they moved 2 pellet grills, an old hickory, CTO, and an egg. And I'll probably move the Webers and stuff myself and the drums. Anything that's easily that we're used to moving around. But like even those old hickories, man, they're a pain in the butt to move. Those pellet grills aren't too bad because you can roll them and you can put them in the truck pretty easy. But a heavy grill like that green egg, if I was going to move it, I would take the top off, take all the guts out, be very careful because they're fragile. Then you can move it. But you definitely got to take it apart if you're going, unless you're beefed up and ready for the challenge. You can pick that thing up. It's heavy. I mean, yeah.
Even then, moving that.
Strap it and hope for the best. I mean, that's what we did.
Strap it and hope for the best.
2 men in a truck, I'm telling you. That's the way to go.
I had to help move a $30,000 old hickory into a restaurant one time. That was fun. That was.
I've learned
those are big
over my 45 years that moving is not for me. It is always better to hire that out.
Yes, but
I've been involved in several moves throughout my younger days, college days, mid-20s.
But back then, I could load
pickup
everything
truck,
in my car.
Yeah, everything went in a pickup truck in somebody's car, and off you went. But you get to moving heavy stuff, man. Don't do it. Put that risk on somebody else.
Second story of an apartment. Ugh.
We want to move our whole house. It's like everything big. I'm letting somebody move it because that's risk is on y'all. I don't want to tear it up. If I tear it up, I'm getting yelled at. If they tear it up, we can yell at them.
It'd be a group project.
Yeah, that's right. Why did you do it like that? How'd you drop that? What do you mean you can't put it back together? You have all the parts. Nope, that's on somebody else.
Are there any pellet grills that have a side burner for like a gas that you know of?
Not that I know of.
I haven't heard of that either.
There may be some combo. I don't know if it has a side burner.
Several people ask about combo grills.
I think there's a combo like pellet grill, propane grill and I wouldn't be surprised if they put a side burner on it, but I don't know of one specific model of a pellet grill that runs.
I feel like a Pit Boss has one, like just off the top of my head. Like I feel like I've seen it.
They may. Camp Chef, if another one did, it would be a Camp Chef because they make a whole bunch of different accessories. Like Camp Chef, they have a flat top that runs off almost like 2 fish cookers or whatever in it.
Oh,
it could be a fish cooker. It could be a flat top.
And you hook a bottle to it?
Yeah, it's propane, so they might have one. I don't really like those side burners on grills. I've never had any much luck with them.
Well,
I've got one of those. I had that. What was it? A Napoleon that had the infrared on the side and all that.
You never used it.
Never used it.
Well, you rarely use the Napoleon.
I just don't use a propane grill that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fixing to start using my Blackstone.
To me, that's completely different, though.
Flat top's totally different than propane grill.
Because you're not gonna get a smoky, grilly flavor on a black top anyway.
Yeah.
So somebody posted this. It was a McRib mold and a White Castle mold. Like you take your ground meat and you put it in this mold and it molds it to look like a perfect McRib sandwich or White Castle burger.
Does it put the little holes in it like a White Castle does? Yeah. Really? That's interesting.
I thought so too.
You could do those on a flat top. How would you cook that? I guess you just use like ground pork for the
I guess you can do
McRib.
whatever.
And it makes that fake little rib shape.
Yeah. What do they use to make that those little burgers that are so popular in Corinth, Mississippi?
Slug burgers.
Slug burgers.
It's a soy burger. So it doesn't have any beef in it at all. It's pork. So it's
Pork
like
and
a
soy?
soy meal. Basically, they were Depression era burgers that they could sell for a nickel. That's what they called slug, a nickel. So 5 cents, you could get a burger. And that was what people didn't have a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
So they wanted some type of, sandwich that was easy to get. And that's just what they invented. And they took a soy product, which was almost like a flour. Think of it like that, soy flour. They mixed it with some meat to give it, some protein, I guess, or consistency. And fried it in lard. And it makes this little crunchy, I don't know.
Overcooked dry patty is what it is.
It's not like a burger. It's more like
It's small.
what would you say it's like? Almost like a little fried minute steak or something, kind of, or a fried piece of sausage that's been battered. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's crispy and it's meat based with soy, and you eat it with a pickle, onion, and mustard, and they're delicious.
Ugh.
They have a big slug burger festival in Corinth, Mississippi. It's like the home of it.
Yeah.
There's I think it's Borgram's grocery pharmacy that's up there. It's like an old soda fountain pharmacy. Still there, go there and get your Johnson's liver pills or whatever. Get your slug burgers and get you a hand spun milkshake.
Coke in a bottle.
Yeah, there's another one up there called the White Charlie that we always go to. It's a little.
I've tried them
like
several different kinds.
You hate them.
They're just
You want to
dry.
get fancy, get cheese on it. That's why that's why you put the mustard on it.
They're dry and crunchy and a little flavorless.
Yeah. So first you'd want to where's the mayonnaise?
I'd put mayonnaise on one.
You don't eat mayonnaise on a slug burger? That's blasphemy.
It didn't help it.
It,
So
it's either you were raised on them and love them or you don't.
Yeah,
And you
I
can
get
you can actually buy slug burger meat at a couple of those, I think Rogers little grocery store up there sells them, and there's probably another one.
it's like Vienna sausages. If you grew up on them, you probably love them.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm good on my crystals.
You're good. Have you ever heard of a slug burger?
Nah, it's the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I might have to try one.
Yeah.
I guarantee you my mom's got slug burger meat right now in the freezer. I need to get some.
I bet she does.
Bring it up here and have slug burger.
So, you know how last week, Tyler, you were talking about the hot dogs?
I do.
They are Fenway Franks,
Yes.
and
Tyler's been already contacted by some people on it or something.
Yeah, it was somebody that they
In the
posted in the
community.
community, and they tagged me in it, and they were showing me that they have like Fenway Franks in packs of 8, like that they sell at grocery stores.
Yeah.
I'm assuming up north is probably where you find them. Like I've been to LA, they sell Dodger dogs out
Probably
there.
in Boston.
yeah,
I'm sure it's just a regular hot dog branded differently, but it's still so cool, and I want to try it.
Yeah.
I looked everywhere. I could not find them available online to order and ship.
Oh, that's so sad.
Because we got to try them, is what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to have.
You can't be a hot dog connoisseur and not try 'em.
Gold Belly doesn't sell Fenway Franks.
I didn't try Gold Belly.
Yeah. They probably do.
We have to go on
Hey,
like
have you ever had those Vienna? Like they do in Chicago, make Chicago dogs with? I've ordered those before. Those are good dogs.
No, I never tried those.
Vienna dogs, yeah. It's like the original Chicago style hot dog. That's my favorite style hot dog. Chicago, it's like salad on a dog. I mean, you put everything. It's got a pickle spear on it, little sport peppers, like bright green relish. It's really, I think a lot of times they use a lot of green pepper in it instead of making just all pickle.
And it's got sesame seeds.
Sesame seed on it, and then a little mustard. That's it.
Sonic makes one actually.
I've
then
got
it's
Yeah.
actually
Sonic.
really
Yeah, I've gotten. Have you had the Sonic?
Yeah.
It's not bad. There was a couple places, there should be this place in South or Horn Lake called Wise Guys. It was some people from Illinois, from Chicago, owned it, and they did awesome Chicago style dogs. But they also did Chicago deep dish pizza. It was legit.
It was very good.
Took them an hour and a half to make it for you, but it was legit.
It was my favorite pizza, man.
Have you been to Wise Guys?
Yes, I
Okay.
was. And then they moved and they went out of business. So sad.
Yeah. There's another Chicago style place out on Bartlett.
Yeah,
Remember I
it's
took you
pretty
out
far.
there? And that guy was like don't ask for cat. It was like a hot dog Nazi.
Yeah. He had these very mean signs.
Rules, yeah.
It reminded me of Soup Nazi because you
Yeah,
looked
that's
at this
what-
line.
yeah.
You're not supposed to make eye
Don't
contact.
make eye contact, no your order, no ketchup, absolutely. Like, you gotta have all of it ready. It's like, okay, hey man, chill, that's a dog. I don't have to go through all this.
I can go to Sam's and get treated
Yeah, but
real
they had
nice.
like the Son of Frankenstein dog. It was like this monster hot dog. There was like 2 quarter-pound dogs put together on a big bun, Chicago style. Man, it was good.
So what do we have coming up? You got a Father's Day recipe, supposedly.
Yeah, I'm doing something for Father's Day.
What are you doing for Father's Day?
I'm gotta get through camp week first. This is a very important holiday to me.
I'm trying to rush him.
You're trying to rush me. Let me slow down. Let me enjoy camp week. Then we'll come out with our Father's Day cooking stuff. I don't know exactly what it's going to be yet.
I
Right
still
now, fried catfish sounds good. But hey, I might change. But yeah, that's I really don't. I mean, to me, Father's Day is usually give me a steak, give me a beer, leave me alone. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it might be something like that. I might do steak and potatoes or something.
Let's make Michael do the video.
I should. Yeah, turn that
He's
over.
got to
right?
cook for you.
Hey,
He can cook a mean steak now. Yeah, he knows how to cook a steak.
because
He
he
knows how to
was,
fry trout now.
yeah, he was he would cook steak competitions with us. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, he can cook a good steak.
we got Father's Day at the shop coming up.
That's
Thursday.
going to be Thursday night. That's going to be. We're going to do some. We're going to cook some
Next
steaks
Thursday.
and do some different stuff, dad type stuff.
Sampling
It's
our
going to be a
all
little
our-
after hours, right? It's not going to be during the day.
No, it's 4 to 7
Yeah, because people got to get off work. It's Thursday night. You know, gives
on
them
the
time to
17th.
Get some
June 17th.
ideas. Get some ideas for Father's Day.
Come and do some sampling.
Yep.
Do your shopping.
You need to buy dad a gift.
And on June 26th, Saturday 26th.
Wiener Fest 21.
So it turns out I've been misspelling Wienerfest on all the stuff. Katie emailed me today.
Did y'all not double check how to spell wiener? What did
Oh, no.
Well,
tomato? Who cares how you spell
I
it?
before except after C.
they had sent me a graphic that was misspelled, and then they sent me the other graphic, but I just had started using that
So
one.
did we get all this stuff ordered that's all misspelled?
No,
They caught it.
it's only the stuff that I've been putting out on Facebook.
That don't
So we can
surprise me.
update
Nobody
it.
said you're a spelling major.
I didn't catch it.
Wiener Fest. So how were you spelling it? IE or EI?
Hold on.
At least if there already is a Wienerfest out there, they can't sue us.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay, Katie said
Is it EI NER?
it is IE.
Okay.
It is in fact IE.
Okay. It's WIE?
Katie said her and Cheyenne checked multiple places to make sure they were spelling it, and it is in fact WIENER.
Huh.
I've been using EI.
Yeah.
I
How
don't
they
know.
spell it in Arkansas? Look up Wiener, Arkansas. That's where KO lives. I just thought they liked hot dogs there. Don't get me wrong. I always call
Yeah.
them dogs. I don't call them wieners.
So I got to update all our graphics.
What if you just WEENERS?
Wiener.
So it's Weiner.
Would you like some
That makes
wiener?
sense because it's a German, and that would be
That
more
does
Weiner.
make sense, yeah.
But it's probably not Wiener. It's just like a redneck way to say it. It's probably a Weiner.
Weiner.
Yeah, Weiner Kugel or something. Weiner
That-
friggin'.
But that's what we got
Well, we
coming
can
up.
change it to Frankfurter.
Frankfurter Fest.
Frankfurter Fest. Frankenfest.
We've already got Wienerfest shirts made up.
Okay. Dukers wants a couple of them. He sent me a text. Want to know if there's going to be a shirt. Steve Cheney sent me one. Said we should have done Utah give me two. Some kind of way. It was like this graphic. You know, give me $2, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's gonna be crazy. I can't wait for Beer Fest.
Winterfest?
When's Beer Fest?
October.
Do
we
beer-
don't sponsor a beer
we
fest.
don't sponsor Beer Fest.
Why
right?
can't we?
That's private.
We can cook with beer.
That's
We could do
true.
brats. We could do a big old vat of beer brats. We could do,
Hosting one in my back office.
That's what I was thinking. We could do it internally, but I don't know
we
about.
can't call it Beer Fest, but we could call it Oktoberfest.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would.
This is where magic happens, the podcast. guys.
Yeah. That's what I was
Well, I
hoping.
have notes.
He would come up with his Father's Day recipe.
It's camp week. Just give me camp. I've been waiting for 2 years for camp week. There wasn't a camp last year. This year, it's starting out. So yesterday, I did get to go watch 2 baseball games.
Yep.
That was great. Got
We
to
sat
pull
at
the
the
rebel.
bar.
Got to pull the Rebels through. Got to
few
set
beers.
up Windy City. They had Miller Lights for $1.75 a bottle,
Wow.
and I was blown away. We got wings were 50 cents.
Mm-hmm.
The wings were pretty daggum good.
Mm-hmm.
We had some cheese. We watched 2 baseball games. So we had some wings, we had some cheese sticks, we had some loaded fries, and we drank all the Miller Lite bottles we could probably stand. Our tab was only like $45.
Wow.
We got the tab. I was like, this can't be right. I mean, there's no way. This is way too cheap because we've been sitting there for probably, I don't know, 5 hours,
No, it was
4
like
hours.
3.
We watched part of the Ole Miss game at home and then ran up there because there was all kinds of stuff going, rain delays and everything. It was a long game. But then we watched the whole Arkansas game.
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah, the whole game. Well, they joined it because
Yeah.
it started before the Ole Miss game was over.
We started watching in the 3rd inning, I think.
Yeah,
Second,
because
bottom
Ole
of the
Miss
second,
game,
or
yeah.
the
But anyway, we
top of the
watched.
3rd.
We watched 2 baseball games.
Yeah. Didn't drink too much beer.
No, I don't know how many it was, but it was only $45 total.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been too many.
But yeah, see?
That was
was a
that's a
great
great way to
start.
start the camp week. That's a start. We got to come in strong now. The rest of the week,
So what's your next plan?
I got to see who's playing ball tonight.
Redbird's playing?
There's probably going to be some Como Steakhouse in there somewhere.
Yep.
We go to Como.
That's my one request is I want a
Yeah.
good steak.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go to Como, and then I'll probably cook you steak later in the week. That'll work. But we're recording this one a little early, so
Because I can't wait.
because of camp week. If anybody doesn't know, if you want to know when camp week is, y'all send me an email and I'll tell you when to start celebrating. Just get a whole week, just go as crazy as you can.
Get ready, kids.
Get rid of your kids and go crazy. Do everything you want to do all year without sans kids.
Mine's in it's like a week and a half. My wife is taking the 2 kids to South Carolina to see
Oh, you
her
having
sister.
camp week?
So I'm just by myself, like
Heck,
for the
yeah,
first time since I got
You're not
married.
gonna know what to do. You're going to end up sitting home eating Cheetos, playing video games. 'Cause that's what I remember those days. It's like, I'm free, but you're too scared to do anything. I don't know what to do.
What if I go to jail?
Yeah. I better just stay home, binge watch something, eat Cheetos. I'd go crazy by myself, though.
Yeah, I like to be by myself. Malcolm needs to.
Yeah, I can't stand it. Solitary confinement will kill me. I got to have somebody to talk to. Myself just don't get it done. For real.
Well, that's all I had this week. Let's wrap this up so you can get back to your camp
Get back
week.
to camping.
Yeah.
All right.
We had to come in and knock out a few tasks in the
There you
office
go.
today. You might not see us for the rest of the week, though.
And you're in a hurry, I know, to go try these blue plate mayo products.
I've heard a rumor that they're cooking hot dogs back there.
They're warming up for Winterfest. Winterfest warm up today.
All they told me was suit up. So
Suit up.
Suit up.
All right, well, Shell, tell everybody where they can find us if they don't know.
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and now TikTok. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram. Tyler.
if you'd like to connect with me, it's TikTok_Tyler at Instagram.com.
That's right. Or hit us up on the community too.
Help us raise money for Palmer Home.
We will see y'all next time. Y'all enjoy Camp Week.